what's my play about? My play is called God's Spies, and it's about what all plays are about. All plays, all theater plays, all good theater plays are about the same thing. What we do in theater is we reach out and take what's precious that no one else has seen, and we hold it up to the light. And that's the story of every great play, whether it's King Lear claiming Cordelia, or Attention Must Be Paid to Willy Loman, or any of the brilliant plays that have come out of Ojai over the years. And I think of Fun Home, I think of Motherfucker with a Hat, I think of Lloyd's American Huangap, all looking for something precious that no one else has seen, but the Playwrights has seen. In my particular case, it's the essential worker. The play is about Shakespeare and what he did with his COVID lockdown. He was locked down in 1603 with the plague in London. And what he did was he wrote King Lear. And King Lear is about who you are when you have lost everything, which is what so many people did during COVID. COVID changed us all. I'm sitting here with the mask, and it made us all separate for a while, which was painful and hard. And I think that was especially hard for theater people because we're about gathering. In this play, Shakespeare, a working woman of the night, and a Scottish lawyer are forced into quarantine with one another. And the proximity of that, combined with fear of death, combined with fear of the plague, brings them to a new level of truth about themselves and one another. In a deeper sense, or at least a more literary sense, Shakespeare wrote Hamlet, which is reputedly the best play ever written. And then the question comes up, what do you write after you write Hamlet? And the answer is he wrote King Lear. And King Lear is completely different. Hamlet is rational. Hamlet is well planned. And King Lear is a hot mess. It's passionate. People running around crazy. And I think what did that was the plague. So this play is trying to find what was good in this experience that we had. I certainly would not have written this play had I not been locked down and thinking about lockdown. So it really is a COVID play. It exists without that. It's about Shakespeare writing King Lear. But COVID forced us all to confront death. It forced us all to think about what are we doing with our lives. People quit their jobs, people found new ways to work, people found new relationships and new ways of being in the world. And this is that applied to Shakespeare. People ask a lot whether OPC makes better plays. And my answer to that is always the same. Yes, the plays get better because you have a lot of smart people in a compressed period of time in a beautiful setting working together in a spirit of creation and love and diversity. But I don't think that's the big thing that OPC does. I think OPC makes better playwrights. I think it makes better directors. I think it makes better theater artists, technicians, stage managers, because it brings us all together. And we live together for 2 weeks. And especially in the first week when we're involved in reading one another's plays, it creates a community. And what OPC has done, and this is especially Bob Egan, is he has created a national community of theater so that when you go to see a play, you think, I was in the first reading of this play, or I know this playwright. And as opposed to the competitive world of professional theater, it's become a family. And I think that's what OPC does. Years ago, many, many years ago now, I wrote a play that my first play, Bob picked it up, Bob Egan picked it up, put it on at the Taper. It toured the country, went to Broadway, and got made into a film. And because the Broadway production was terribly reviewed, I walked away from theater and went back and went into television, where I was very happy. And then OPC came along. And once again, it was Bob Egan, and said, come here, be part of the family. And I found a receptive audience that could nurture and create a play. And so I wrote a play for OPC and fell in love with it. And then I began to write plays so I could come to OPC. That was the goal. and it's continued. In terms of special moments, I've told this story many times, but I wrote a play about the Iraq War that's been widely done. It's currently at the Edinburgh Festival in Scotland. It's called 9 Circles. When I sent it to Bob, there were only 5 circles. And he said, let's do it. And I said, what if I can't write the rest of it? He said, then we'll call it 5 Circles. But we did write the rest of it with Bob and Patrick Adams and Hal Brooks being completely supportive. And it was a thunderous experience in the theater. But there was no criticism. There was no sense of haven't you met the deadline? It was, we believe in you. And that's transformative.